Caroline sat in the dimly lit living room, the weight of silence pressing down on her like an unbearable force. The house, once filled with laughter and familiar warmth, felt hollow now. Emptied not just of the man she loved, but of the life they had built together. Her phone lay beside her, the screen dark, unmoving. No missed calls. No new messages. Nothing. She had made a mistake, a single reckless moment that unraveled everything. It wasn't supposed to be like this. 1 second, she was joking, basking in the attention of friends, feeling confident, desirable. The next, she was alone, replaying the night over and over, wishing she could take it all back. It had been an ordinary dinner, the kind they'd had a dozen times before. A table filled with friends, glasses of wine, effortless laughter. Someone had thrown out a playful, hypothetical question. Something ridiculous about choosing between their partner and someone else. Without thinking, without considering the consequences, Caroline had smirked, tossed her hair, and delivered a line she thought would land as a joke. "Oh, please," she had said, her voice teasing, laced with amusement. "If I had to choose, I'd pick my coworker over Ryan in a heartbeat." Laughter erupted around her. Friends nudged her playfully, giggling at her audacity. She had felt powerful in that moment, like she was in control, effortlessly charming. She even winked, playing it up, soaking in the attention. It was harmless. It was fun. Or so she thought. Ryan didn't laugh. He didn't even react, not in the way she expected. He simply sat there, silent, his expression unreadable. And that should have been her first warning. Later, when they returned home, she barely had time to slip off her heels before he turned to her, his voice steady, quiet, too quiet. "Do you really feel that way?" She had blinked, caught off guard. "What? What you said at dinner." His tone didn't rise, didn't waver. "Was that a joke, or do you actually think you'd be better off with someone else?" Caroline scoffed, brushing it off, rolling her eyes. "Ryan, come on. You know I didn't mean it like that." "Then why say it?" Something in his voice unsettled her. She could have apologized right then. She could have softened, told him it was stupid, meaningless, a thoughtless remark made in the moment. But she didn't. Instead, she crossed her arms, her defense mechanisms kicking in. "It was a joke," she said, her tone dismissive. "You're overreacting." Ryan let out a short, humorless laugh. "Overreacting," he repeated under his breath, shaking his head. He ran a hand through his hair, exhaling sharply. "I've spent years trying to make you happy, Caroline. And the one time you actually light up, the one time you get excited about something, it's over another man." She opened her mouth to protest, but he cut her off. "No, seriously," he said, his eyes searching hers for something she couldn't define. "If you're so convinced there's someone better for you, why are you even here?" That was the moment everything shifted. She felt it deep in her chest, that sinking, sickening realization that this wasn't just an argument. This wasn't one of their fights that would burn out in a few hours, replaced by quiet apologies and unspoken forgiveness. This was different, and she was losing him. "Ryan, no," she started, reaching for him. But he had already pulled away. "I thought we were a team," he said. "I thought this marriage meant something. But clearly I was wrong." She let out a nervous laugh, still trying to play it off. "Oh, come on, you're not seriously mad over some dumb joke." But he wasn't listening. He was already walking upstairs. And 20 minutes later, when she followed, she found him in their bedroom, packing. At first, she refused to believe it. She leaned against the doorframe, shaking her head. "You're actually leaving over this?" Ryan didn't even look at her. "It's not just this," he muttered, zipping up his suitcase. "It's everything." Panic clawed at her chest. She could see it now, the way she had treated him, the way she had dismissed his feelings, the way she had pushed and pushed, believing he would never actually walk away. She begged him to stop, told him he was overreacting, that she didn't mean it, that he knew she didn't mean it. But he didn't care. He grabbed his keys, walked past her without another word, and then he was gone. The next few days were hell. She told herself he just needed time, that he'd come home, that they would talk, that this was all just a stupid misunderstanding. But then she saw the email. "Follow up on your apartment inquiry." Her stomach dropped. This wasn't him cooling off at a friend's place. This wasn't a temporary break. He was looking for a new place to live. Desperation set in. She called straight to voicemail. She texted, no response. Finally, with shaking hands, she recorded a voice message, her voice breaking as she spoke. "Ryan, please. Can we just talk? This is getting blown way out of proportion. I didn't mean what I said. You know that. You're the only one I want. Please just come home." Nothing. No reply. Not that day. Not the next. And then finally a text. Thanks for confirming what I've suspected for a while. You just use people for what they can give you. I guess I was no different. That was when she felt truly sick. Because the worst part? He wasn't wrong. She tried calling again, and this time he answered. But his voice was different, distant, cold. What do you want, Caroline? She tried to fix it, to explain, to tell him he was misunderstanding everything. But all he said was, I need time to think. Don't call me again until I reach out. And that was it. Now, she sat in the emptiness of their home, staring at her phone, waiting for a message that was never going to come. She had always believed she held the power in their relationship. She thought she could say anything, do anything, and he would always stay. But now she had nothing. And the worst part, the coworker she had so carelessly joked about choosing over him, he didn't want her either. So here she was, alone, with nothing and no one to blame but herself.